What's up, y'all? Hey, love muffins, grace and peace, praying all is well with you and your families. Happy belated Mother's Day. It is Monday, the day after Mother's Day. So please forgive me as I am looking quite comfortable because, again, it's the day after Mother's Day and I'm still in relaxation mode. So, nevertheless, thank you all for coming back to The Journey Continues with Victoria Lee. I am Victoria Lee for those of you who are new to this channel. Thank you for joining. Hopefully this conversation today will be fruitful and helpful. For those of you who have been here before, hey love muffin, welcome back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share with somebody who the Lord puts on your heart. All right, so we here. Let's keep the ball rolling. Rejection. An interesting topic, right? For so many people in the world, right? I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have identified with, with the effects of rejection, but don't really know that what the root cause of those different, the different things that come out of being in a stronghold with the spirit of rejection. And so we're gonna dive deep into what it was like, what it's been like for me, and we're just gonna talk about what it was like and the branches that sprung up out of this deep-rooted sense of rejection that I have been carrying around with me for years. And when I say years, honestly, y'all, like I started. Hold on. I told y'all about this before. I told y'all about this book before, right? It is a guide for listening and inner healing prayer, meeting God in the broken places. It's by Rusty Rustenbach. I will link I got it off of Amazon. This is a resource that we use in my discipleship class. And it's a workbook that really does help you seek and sit in the presence of the Lord to help so that he can reveal to you the broken places in your heart and in your spirit. And y'all, I've completed, I've done pretty good, y'all. Wait a minute. I have completed thus far up to chapter 9. And so I've done some pretty good work on myself. God has done some pretty good work for me on myself. So yeah, I know that he has revealed to me already that what I don't even know. I'm getting tongue twisted, but God has revealed to me the root of a lot of my anger, bitterness, low self-esteem, insecurity, and false identity with lesbianism. He has identified all of that to me just by this book alone, and my discipleship class, and journaling and prayer, and really seeking to stay in the presence, because again, like y'all know, I have really been trying my hardest to figure out who I am. Like, who am I? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever just felt like you still don't know who you are? That's where I was in life. And I'm so thankful for I'm so thankful for this book, and I highly recommend and encourage you all to get. Like I said, I will link it in the description below. But nevertheless, doing that workbook, sitting in the presence of God, and when I say sitting, and I don't do this every day, right? But the times that I dedicate to sitting with him in my prayer closet, I can be in that closet for like 2 hours at a time. And he just shows up and reveals so much. And I know it's him because he's showing me things that I have forgotten about, I have buried, didn't want to think about anymore, in such a very graceful and profound way. Like only it can only be him, because who else knows this? And I'm not having a conversation with somebody who was present in the physical being, right? Because God is omnipresent. He is everywhere at all times. And I don't know, y'all. It's just, it's so hard to put into words the encounter with him. All I know is what he reveals to me, and then the things that I need to do in order to move forward and to allow him to truly heal me. So as I'm walking, walking this thing out with him by my side, I'm sitting and I'm asking him, like, God, why can't I love? Like, why don't I know how to love people? Like, God, why am I so angry all the time? Like, why don't I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody? Like, why don't I want to get married? All of these things. Like, even down to, God, why can't I stop eating? Like, why can't I stop eating? Like, why can't I be consistent with my weight loss? Why don't I feel worthy of the promotions that I'm getting at work? Like what is wrong with me? And maybe like sitting in his presence and him just revealing to me that, like, sweetheart, there's nothing wrong with you, but it's so much that you believe about yourself that's just not true. And so we're going to walk through it. We're going to unpack it. I'm going to try to get all this into 30 minutes. If I don't, we'll do a part 2, whatever. Like, we're here to heal. We're here to seek the face of God. We're here to learn his truth and to learn our identity in Christ. That's my goal, right? That's my goal for myself. And I hopefully it encourages you to, I don't know, seek his face. Hear what he thinks about you. You know what I mean? Like, what does he think about? What does he think about me? Like, who does God say I am? I don't really like who I say I am. I don't really like who other people say I am either. I don't like how other people describe me, but for a really long time, that has directed and steered the direction of my life for so many years. Like I said, I just got healed and like from this year, right? Not last year, this year. And so, I want to share what it's been like for me. I want to share, like all of the times where I thought those moments of rejection was like, it was so damaging to me, when in all actuality, it really truly was God's protection of something that he knew I couldn't handle. I wouldn't be able to handle or understand, for that matter, right? So I can remember even as a child not fitting in, really. I was a hardcore tomboy, right? For those of you who don't know, I was born in Kansas. So I'm a country girl at heart. I enjoy playing in the dirt. I enjoy being outside. I enjoy playing with animals, like all of those things. Like, what you see is what you see. It's I enjoy looking beautiful and playing in makeup and all of the things, but in my core, I'm a big kid, and I love to play and be outside. I'm definitely not the typical girly girl as the world would categorize us as, right? And that did set me apart from it set me apart from where, the what I saw on a day-to-day basis. I came from Kansas and immediately came to Washington, D.C. I had spent a couple years in Ohio, but you go from growing up in two areas where there's not many people that look like you, i.e. African Americans, to being thrown into the inner city. For those of y'all who are in the DMV area, your girl was raised in Northeast/Southeast. And it was fun for me, but it was also a lot of like different challenging things. I remember in middle school, like people used to call me white. You know what I mean? Because I was so fair-skinned, and my mom was light-skinned, and my mom has like hazel grayish eyes. And so they used to, I used to get teased because I was so light-skinned. And it made me develop tough skin really fast. And although it hurt my feelings, I was never willing to allow somebody to know that my feelings were hurt. Because again, if you show signs of weaknesses, it's going to continue. So, and this is an elementary school, right? So I'm at this point where I'm defending my identity in the 5th, 6th grade, like what? And so, like, it started for me at a young age, really defending who I'm not versus seeking who I am. Does that make sense? And it's really just not, you know what I mean? Not to say that that's a bad thing, because it is also good to know that, to stand in who you aren't. But at the same time, me defending that I am not a Caucasian or I'm not mixed, planted a seed of, I don't like me. I don't like being light skinned. I don't like, you know what I mean, whatever else I may have developed. And so I started to, again, try not to identify with who I am. It wasn't a bad thing to be light skinned, you know what I mean? But at an early age, that developed for me. And you all know, light skinned girls have this reputation of being conceited, and they're not nice, and they're mean girls, and all of these things. So as I'm trying to not allow myself to be categorized with this group of women, I'm literally not learning or knowing the true beauty of who I am, because I'm trying so hard to show to show that I'm not what people say I am. And so the spirit of rejection planted a seed in me many, many years ago. That was my first experience with being rejected by people who look like me. They look like my cousins, you know what I mean? And so like, it's the first time I'd ever had somebody or had people not accept me for me. And yeah, it became a snowball effect of trying to prove that I'm all of these things. So now I'm developing characteristics to prove that I'm something that I'm not, but I'm also developing characteristics about myself that really aren't me either. And so now I'm walking around as a child, really unsure of who I am at all. And so, things continue to go on and move forward with life. And you go to middle school and, all of the things. And, you start participating in extracurricular activities. And, in middle school, I became valuable by being a leader and being smart. And so I put everything that I had into trying to perfect those characteristics in myself. You know what I mean? Like being pretty, I'm not going to say pretty hard on myself, but a B was devastating for me. You know what I mean? Like a B was like, I strive for perfection. I strive for perfection. I joined everything that I could that would, again, get me the recognition and the validation of my teachers, of my peers, of my mom, all of the things. So your girl was in the band, I was a cheerleader, I was the captain of a step team, spelling bee, kickball, like all of these things just to be seen. Just to be seen. And this little piece right here is throwing me off, y'all. It really is. I'm so sorry. Y'all like, why y'all keep messing with your face? Anyway. And so, but even in those moments, right, I still wasn't in the in crowd, right? For one, I wasn't allowed to do what everybody else was allowed to do. I wasn't allowed to go to the little kiddie clubs. When practice was over, I had to go home. I was responsible for my younger brother. Like all of that ripping and running in the streets was out of the picture for me. I developed really, really fast. And, my mom didn't really make me feel all that comfortable with my body either as I developed, and maybe it scared her. Again, I'm her only daughter. And so at 10, 11 years old, Mother Nature happens. These happen. Literally, like outside of the extra weight, this is what I looked like in middle school. I had breast in middle school. I was a C cup in middle school. And so she wanted to allow me to be a kid, but at the same time, I didn't look like a kid in an inner city walking to and from school. No, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things that a lot of people, a lot of my friends were allowed to do. So still, even being a part of these different, groups and things like that, I still wasn't in the in crowd, right? And so I'm still just going on in life, really trying to figure out what is going to get me recognized. Like, where's my place in life? Like, what makes me most valuable, And it continued to just grow and grow and grow all at the same time, not knowing how to embrace the changes in my body. I'm growing up. You know, my mom is not all that enthused about the changes in my body either. At the same time, still wanting to be outside and just play and just do the fun things. But the things that I enjoy, the boys enjoy. And I like to play basketball. I like to play football. I like to just be outside and just have fun. But whatever scared my mom became my leash. You know what I mean? I was only allowed to do but so much. I was only allowed to wear certain things. I was only allowed to do a lot of stuff. So again, it was just growing up, you know, turning into a young lady, stepping into, you know, the transitions of life really didn't seem like it was something that I wanted to do. It wasn't fun. It wasn't explained to me that this is what's coming, or why I couldn't do certain things, or why I couldn't wear certain things. It was just a no, you can't, and that's what it was. And so it's like, okay, well, maybe if I stop acting this way, then I'll be able to do other things. Or maybe if I am a little bit more girly, then, you know, she'll do other things with me. And it just didn't happen that way for me. And so, yeah, as the days go on, you know, I continue to grow up. You know, again, for me, I really did feel like a low-key reject, you know what I mean? Like, I was smart and, you know, I accomplished a lot of things, and that did give me recognition to a certain extent, and validation in my mom's eyes. And I do know, like, for me, a lot of the validation and recognition that I was seeking was majority for my mom, from my mom. Just because I wanted her to be proud, not that she neglected me or anything like that. I just wanted to make her proud, and I didn't want to add any stress to her, and I wanted, you know, her to know that she could rely on me and all of these things. And so as I got older, that became like my value and my purpose, to do the things that made my mom proud. And, you know, if she didn't want me to do certain things, I just didn't, with no argument, and it was what it was. But it also caused me to suppress, again, who I was, as I wasn't in search of who I was, and no one was teaching me to, again, be an individual and be confident in who I am. And, you know, these are my weaknesses, these are my strengths, these things make me, other things make me valuable other than being reliable and an overachiever. So, you know, life continued to go on, and I poured all of my energy into being what others needed me to be. That's, you know, really what it was. Fast forward, I get to high school, and high school was my first real introduction to the LGBTQ community. The high school that I went to for the first 2 years of my high school career here in DC was back in the day, it was the lesbian capital. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna put the school up there, but it was the lesbian capital. All of this time, I'm not interested in boys. I just really want to be accepted. So I'm not really into boys. I'm not really thinking about boys. I didn't start getting into boys until I was like, I don't know, like maybe 10th grade, maybe. Like the boys in my neighborhood where I grew up at, they was the bros. You know what I'm saying? We played football together, we played together, like all those things like that. Part of me didn't shift until I was like 13, 14 years old. So I'm like in 9th grade. And again, that stepping into high school, it's like all these different people, like, oh man, I'm falling in love with fashion now. And now I want I want to go shopping more. I want to get my nails done, all of these things. When I ventured into high school, and again, trying to discover who I am. My first year in high school, like I said, it was my first time really caring about my appearance, what I looked like, what my hair looked like, what I smelled like. Because child in elementary, middle school, I did not care about deodorant and all that extra stuff. Like, I just want to go outside. I just wanted to go outside. So, but when I got to high school, things changed. Things changed significantly. I think I was pretty much, everything that was going to develop had already developed. What y'all see now is extra from having a child. Okay. But, for the most part, that was it for me. I stopped, growing. My cup size leveled out, all of the things. But yeah, like that summer is when, the summer right before high school is when things started to change inside of me. You start thinking that, the guys that I played with in the street, they look different. They're handsome and all of the things, but I'm not who they're looking at. They want a little bit more, a little bit more experienced or advanced young ladies. You know what I'm saying? I was cis. I was like one of the boys. And so I'm like, okay, that it is what it is. But again, it is another hit to your self-esteem because the person you have a crush on doesn't see you. And it really didn't help me because I told my mom, and I think it scared her again because now I am interested in dating and having a boyfriend, and that just wasn't in the cards for her. I just generally don't think that she knew how to handle that part of parenting for me. It's very scary because and I'm sure in her mind, my child has a crush on a boy, she finna have a baby. Like the most traumatic thing that you can think of is probably what registered in her head. Again, it's all my assumptions. I don't know what my mom was thinking, but do I wish she would have handled it differently, been a little bit more present and understanding and just there? It probably would have helped me a whole lot. But because she didn't, it didn't help me much. So off to high school I went, and it was a brand new world for me. And the first person who expressed interest in me, unbeknownst to myself, was a girl. Stay tuned. Part 2. How the spirit of rejection led me into 12 years of a false identity with lesbianism. See y'all next week.